Welcome back. About a month ago, I was contacted by AstrHori asking me if I would like to test out their 50mm F1.4 manual tilt shift lens. And I said, yep, sure, send me the lens and I will give you an honest review. Now this whole video is sponsored by AstrHori. They sent me this lens. This is my lens to keep. So I'm making that very clear. Now 50mm is not a lens that I normally use these days because I don't do a lot of portrait photography. But looking up on this lens, we can take some very unique photos because of the tilt angle. So let's open up the box. I'll just get my pocket knife over here. Now, wow, this is very well packed. We've got some bubble wrap here. There's the lens sitting there on the side. And we've got heaps of bubble wrap protecting the lens, well, the box out. And look at that. We got some bubble wrap in there as well at the bottom. So this is the box it comes in. It is all metal. So we'll just open it up. Very nice. This is for full frame Nikon Z cameras, but you can also put it on your Nikon APS-C lens, like the Z30, the Z50, the ZFC. So it will go onto those cameras as well. Wow, very stiff box. Wait. Oh, nice little bit of padding. The instructions, oh look at that, we have QR codes. So if we want to find out more about the lens, if you're a member of Nikon Lovers Australia and you would like to purchase this lens after seeing my review, there is a code in the description below where you can get a 5% discount on this lens. Nice padded box. This is how it comes, a little bit of silica gel, put all that back in there. So this is the lens. Take a look at it. It's all metal. So this is a close-up view of the lens. We have a metal lens cap. It's a screw-on lens cap, unlike just a plastic clip-on cap. Takes a while to unscrew. Plastic end cap being a manual focus lens. There's no electronic connectors here. So here the lens is wide open at f1.4 and we close it all the way down to f16. Goes back all the way to f1.4. On the front aperture dial, we have 1.4 all the way to f16. The more you screw the aperture dial towards f16, the shorter the distance is. So this is what it looks like on my Nikon Z6II. What I will do is I'll just point out right here, right on the edge there, on that lip, there's a dotted line that runs all the way around. If you want to keep the lens centered, then that dotted line helps you. So this is our focus ring. Feels very nice and smooth. A bit stiff, but I'd rather a bit stiff than too loose. And on the front here is our aperture dial. It starts at 1.4, goes all the way to f16. Also very tight. Looks very nice. Now if we just unscrew this down here, it's a bit firm. Unscrew it a little bit more. There. Now I can just tilt any which way I want. So it tilts in any direction. Some lenses will only tilt up and down, but this will tilt all the way around like that. And when we're ready to tighten in the direction that we want, we just screw it down. You've really got to try to hold the lens to get in the right direction. You can see here, you know, I've got quite a bit of tilt to it. I think it's going to take me a few photos to get used to it. I'll take some photos and some video to show you what it looks like, because at f1.4 you can get some really nice bokeh from this lens. So looking forward to going out and testing it tomorrow. So I went out for a couple of days and took quite a few different photos of different subjects with the AstrHori full frame 50mm F1.4 tilt shift lens. So here we have just a council bus waiting at the bus station. This is what it looks like with the 50mm at f8. And the bus is nearly all in focus. And my focus point is the translate sign towards the top right corner on the side of the bus stick. This is at f1.4. I haven't tilted the lens in any direction yet. This is just at f1.4. Now I have tilted the lens to the left. You can see there's a bit of vignetting there on the left. Look at the difference between this photo and the one before. So this is tilt shift at f1.4, this is at f2.8, and even at f2.8, look at the difference between when I've shifted the lens to the left and when it has just been straight on. This is the advantage of having a tilt shift lens. You can really narrow the depth of field down and you can end up with some very unique photos. So this is the f1.4 JPEG photo straight out of the camera. Now this is the raw file edited in Adobe Lightroom with the vignetting removed and slightly cropped. So this bus stop was across the road from our local train station. And my main focus is right in the center there where the elevator goes up to the train. So you can see here, this is 50mm F1.4, very limited depth of field. And I'm focusing just to the right of the big yellow box there where the elevator goes up. This is at f2.8. Now I've shifted the lens to the left again, and the focus point now is the yellow top of the elevator. This is f2.8. This is at f8. This lens does go from f1.4 to f16, but when you're looking at doing any tilt shifting, the more you close the lens down from f2.8 to f4 to f5.6 to f8 to f11 to f16, the more of the image you are going to get in focus. So you're losing that sort of perspective of a very central depth of field. If we look from f8 to f1.4, you can see it is very different. So this is the f1.4 JPEG photo straight out of the camera. Now this is the raw file edited in Adobe Lightroom with the vignetting removed and slightly cropped. As I was leaving the train station walking home down this path, I noticed these three trees here. And we're going to concentrate on the center tree here. Now this is at 50mm. Now all these photos are just JPEGs straight off the camera. And this is the tree we're going to concentrate on just to the left of center. Now look what happens when I tilt to the right here at f1.4. You see the difference between tilting and no tilt? Quite amazing. This is f2.8. Now this is f8. The same as the train station. It's starting to lose its appeal. We're starting to see more of the background, although this still looks quite good, but in this one here, I actually quite like the f2.8 image. So this is the f1.4 JPEG photo straight out of the camera. Now this is the raw file edited in Adobe Lightroom with the vignetting removed and slightly cropped. Most of my time these days is spent photographing wildlife, especially birds. My wife bought me these ornaments. I quite like them. And here I'm shooting straight on at f1.4 in portrait orientation. I'm going to tilt the lens upwards. And you can see my focus point is on the bigger bird here. And the rest of it just blurs out. Looks very nice. And now at f2.8, we've just got slightly more depth of field. But did you notice also that when we're tilting like this, that the more we close the lens down, let's say from f1.4 to f2.8, the less vignetting we seem to get. So this is the f1.4 JPEG photo straight out of the camera. Now this is the raw file edited in Adobe Lightroom with the vignetting removed and slightly cropped. This is the same bird, but this time in landscape orientation. This is f1.4. Again, I'm focusing on the bigger bird on the right here. Now I've shifted the lens to the right. These two birds are on the same focal plane. This one is f2.8, just slightly more depth of field. So this is the f1.4 JPEG photo straight out of the camera. Now this is the raw file edited in Adobe Lightroom with the vignetting removed and slightly cropped. Now this is another example of how you can use this lens for creative purposes. I've tilted the camera downwards, but the lens is not tilted or shifted. And I've focused on the lemons in the top basket here. It was taken at f1.4. This one was taken at f2.8. This image was taken at f8. Now I have tilted the lens downwards. My focus point is still the same on those lemons in the top basket at f1.4. And we can see there's just a slight amount of vignetting at the top. Now this image is at f2.8. Now this one is at f8. And at f8, you can see even the JPEG image has no vignetting. Now here is the JPEG image at f1.4, unedited. This is the raw file edited in Adobe Lightroom. It's come out very nicely. And this is what I mean about using this lens for creative photography. So you've seen the photos that I've taken with the AstrHori 50mm F1.4 tilt shift lens. Is this the perfect 50mm F1.4 lens? No, but for the cost of this lens, this is a very good lens. Yes, it does have some issues, like I showed towards the end of the video that you've just seen. You cannot tilt all the way to the side, either to the left, to the right, up or down. Is that a deal breaker? Not really, because this lens is not for professional photography. Like I stated, this is a great lens if you want to do some creative photography like you just saw in the sample photos. I am going to use it because it's going to open up an area of photography that I haven't delved in a long time, and that's having fun with a lens that I can create stuff, because a normal lens, whether it's a prime or a zoom lens, cannot do what a tilt shift lens does. You saw in the last sample of photos, look at the fruit bowl photo. It is great. You can use some creativity and you can come up with some great photos. Now you've seen that if it's tilted all the way down and we lock it up, the lens moves. Is that a deal breaker? It is just the way this lens is designed. That as it locks down on the ball and the ball twists. But I found a way around this, and that is not to have it fully tight. Just tight enough that I can move it and it stays where I want it to photograph. Because really, you're not going to be moving the lens in all directions all the time. I found focusing this lens was very easy. Now, I have glasses, and even with my glasses, with the Z6II, looking through the viewfinder like that, I can focus the lens quite well. The lens does suffer from some flare, but don't think about putting a lens hood. You can buy a screw-on lens hood for this lens. Remember, this is not a prime lens. This is a tilt shift. So when you're going to tilt it, you're going to see the edges of your lens hood. So this lens is shot without a lens hood at all. Now, the minimum focusing distance of this lens is about 40 centimeters. So about this much. 40 centimeters is still very good for a full frame lens. Remember, even if you don't have the Nikon full frame Z cameras, you could still use it on your Nikon Z30, Z50, ZFC. It will work very well with it, and you'll get much less vignetting, because instead of shooting at 50mm, you're shooting at 75mm. Now, you've seen the photos. Look at this video here. Can you see how you can have some fun even by using it for videoing? All I've done is I've just loosened the lens up a little bit, held it tight, and just swung it around. And here, the vignetting, wow, it works perfectly, because what it does, it creates like a halo around. So you've got a very dark area, you can see your subject in focus, and it just rotates around. Whether you're shooting photos or whether you're shooting video, this lens is well worth the money. If you're a member of Nikon Lovers Australia, AstrHori have a promotion on that you can get a 5% discount on this lens by using the promo code in the description. In closing, I'm very happy I get to keep a lens. Not only can I use it for tilt shift, but I can lock it in place right in the center. And it is a great f1.4 lens. So if you have any comments or feedback and want more details about this lens, leave it in the comment section. I answer all questions. Stay safe, enjoy your photography, and I'll see you next time.